Okie dokie artichoke. Welcome back to Actors Notes. This is a podcast where every single acting class, improv class, anything that's teaching me about how to be a better actor, I will write down in a notebook. It's not always this one, but this one actually has the entire, 15 weeks of improv classes that I took at the Second City in Chicago. Now, I am based in Kentucky, so it takes me about 5 hours to travel to Chicago and, of course, 5 hours back. So, a 10-hour round trip for one improv class. Now, the Second City provides so many different classes, not just improv. They have classes for actors, but these, it always implies improv principles. They have sketch comedy, they have writing, they have improv for people with anxiety. They have so many different varieties, and I wanted to start off with a foundation. So I took Improv 1, and Improv 1 lasted for 7 weeks. And after that, I said, okay, I am an actor. I want to shoot for Actors for Improv. Now, Actors for Improv is just it's improv for actors. You do have to audition for it. So I did not audition, you have to apply for it. I sent in my resume because I have been a working actor for about 4 years now. And when I mean working, I booked a few commercials here and there. There's still a lot I have to learn within the industry, but I wanted to add to my tool belt. So that's what led me to improv. Next is stage combat. But today is about the second week of improv that I took. So this is Improv 1 that I'm speaking about. If you don't know anything about improv, if you have no acting experience whatsoever, you take this class, Improv 1. That's it. And the first week I already discussed on a previous episode, and now we are on the second week. I'll be doing this for the rest of the time. I'm terrible at math. So that's what, five? Yeah, five more episodes about what I learned in class. And every class will be different because every instructor is different. My amazing instructor, his name is Thomas Rhodes. You can't miss him if he's still at the Second City. He's a gentle giant. He is a 6'5", looks like a Chicago lineman, and he will probably talk about Chicago football for quite some time. He did in many classes. And so in this class, how he instructed the class, when you walk in, there's a whiteboard. And on this whiteboard, he wrote check-in, warm-ups, the yes, let's game, the mirror game, what comes next game, the ad game, and then 2-person, 3-person line game. There's a lot of physicality. You don't just sit there. There's nothing wrong with sitting there and listening to different techniques on how to act or improvise. It's great. But there's just something about moving. You think of improv, you think of, sketch comedy or ensemble shows where they're moving around and it's fun and it's intriguing, it's engaging. I find that more interesting than just sitting there. And it is a 3-hour improv class, but when you move and you have fun, to me, cliche as it sounds, time flies when you're having fun. So it felt like 45 minutes for the entire class. And then we get into the nitty gritty. We warm up, actually. We warm up with a few games. My favorite game is called Whoosh. Whoosh. And there's many different games, but Whoosh is a big one that I've played many times in improv warm-ups, where essentially you stand in a circle with however many people you have. One person, always the teacher, whoever's leading, has this ball of energy. They simply say whoosh, left or right, and they just wave it in the next direction. The next person catches it and says whoosh, and they just pass this ball of energy around. And it seems like a simple little fun game, but it just gets the physicality, gets your body moving, focuses on where you are in that moment. Okay, if you're focused on something else or something else is in your mind, you're not present. Presence, paying attention, reacting, that applies to improv. So it seems like a simple kid's game, but it has an impact, trust me. Now, after our warm-ups, and there's many different warm-ups, whoosh is just the most common, we get into what we're going to be talking about in the class. I did ask, because, I'm just going off of the notes here, so I have absolutely no idea how long this video is going to be. I want to provide you guys with very valuable information. But actor's notes is just simply the actor writing notes, and I'm sharing with you. Maybe you might pick something up from this, like I said, so you don't make the same mistakes, or you might have the same feelings or thoughts. And it's nice to feel not alone. And so I wrote down something here that I asked my teacher before we began class after our warm-ups was one of the books I'm reading and I actually just finished is called Improv Wisdom by Patricia Ryan Madsen. And in this book, she talks about how one, or maybe it was a different book, but I highly recommend this book. She talks about how a lot of people, when they haven't been improvising, when they start doing scenes and they just improv a scene, sometimes their default mode is either teaching or it's anger, which is really unique to me. And I asked Tom, is that normal? He's been teaching improv for over a decade. I was like, is this something that you normally see? And he does say, yes, people with professions of teaching or guiding other people, they tend to lead the other partner within the scene. So they start telling them to do things like, oh, we're in a car right now. You should be driving. You should be looking that way. Excuse me, and they start just almost demanding, and they're very strong within the scene, and it's just by nature of their profession. Maybe they actually teach in their everyday life, or maybe they're a mom and they always have to be telling their kids what to do and stuff like that. So it is a common thing that happens. Anger was another thing that I didn't really notice within myself, but I asked him, I was like, why anger? He said anger is a very default emotion when we get stressed, anxious, because we want to try to control the situation. In improv, there is no control. There is spontaneity, mystery. You don't know what's going to happen because you don't know what your partners are going to give you. So there's this uncertainty. And with uncertainty comes this just uneasiness. And we sometimes default into anger and we start almost like that teaching. We start telling people what to do and we start getting angry because, maybe the partner or the group says something we don't agree with. Now that's one of the biggest principles in improv is the yes and rule. And if you go against the rule and you don't agree with what someone said because it sounds ridiculous to you, well, then your ego and your pride is getting involved and you say no and you're getting angry. That's why, well, which I've seen how he described it, why people default to anger. Now, this is just something to be aware of. When it comes to uncertainty, mystery, you don't know what's going to happen. It's normal to feel stressed. Just to make sure you take a deep breath. I noticed a lot of times, not even just an improv class, but when I do regular acting classes where I have a whole scene that I have to cold read within like 10 to 15 minutes and then perform it in front of the class, my heart starts getting poundy. So I'll have to just take a breath. And it's kind of nice to do that. So just to remind yourself, it's all right. You have full support in that improv class, in that acting class. You're not there to be judged. You're there to make mistakes, whether that's improv or acting. And that kind of goes into the second half or, the later half of this class. I like to write down halftime. We take about like a 10 to 15-minute break every hour and a half, and I write down halftime. So this is getting close to halftime. Ooh, let me talk about one of the games and what the game means. We did something called a focus walk, where the teacher had everyone just stand up and go to random spots in the room. It's not a big room. It's like the size. I mean, it's a decent sized room. Think of your bedroom and double it, about that size. Now, he said, pick a spot in the room. Now, he said, I want one person just to walk around people, walk around the space. And then as soon as you make eye contact with another person, stop walking. And whoever you made eye contact with, they begin walking. So everyone who is just standing there, whoever and watching, they have to watch the person walk around, making sure because you want to take the spotlight, you want to take their attention. So as soon as they make eye contact, then you begin walking and they stop. It's a strange game. There's many strange, fun, kind of bizarre games that you play. But the point of this is simply you don't pull focus if we don't have it. Meaning that within the game, you only move if you have that focus, if they're looking at you. You don't just start moving when someone else is moving and they're not looking at you. And the reason is because I was going to say on stage, but within a lot of people like to take the spotlight. They like to put it on them when it wasn't theirs to begin with. Like imagine someone on stage is doing a two-person scene, then a third person starts singing and walking in the middle of their scene. Like, yeah, you pull the audience's focus and their attention. Like, what's this dude singing and walking in the middle of the scene for? So it doesn't make any sense. You're like, okay, pull the focus when you have it. And this kind of just goes to the dominance, to the teaching person who always likes to teach. Don't pull focus if you don't have it. By the way, I'm not a professional improviser by any means. I have been working on many different projects, commercials, and have applied improv practices in a lot of the work that I've done. But by no means do I feel like I'm master. I'm still learning, just like you, or just like anyone who's interested in taking these classes. So these are just my thoughts. This is a safe space. I mean, we are there to challenge ourselves. I remember one of my biggest challenges that I didn't want to really take on was accents. I can establish many things. I can establish where we are. Like, what are we doing in the scene? You can always pantomime. You can always mime what you're doing, right? Part of the gist of improv scenes and establishing a relationship. Are we brothers in this scene? Is it a boyfriend girlfriend? Are we astronauts in a Milky Way that hasn't been discovered yet, and we've been launched, and no one's going to save us? It's easy for me. Actually, it's not easy. Sometimes very difficult. It's easy to talk to a camera like this, talk to you, but within an actual, social setting, it's kind of scary. But I can better understand how to establish the scene. But what are you doing? Where are you? And who are you to the other person? One of the things that I've always admired about other improvisers is their ability to do accents. Oh, so you think you can just do an accent right now? And oh, no, or maybe you're an old granny. See, even right now, it's a little difficult for me to do. But putting on this persona and this accent was so difficult for me. And I remember trying it and I stopped it, just like I did right now. And I'm in the comfort of my own home, but it's a space to know that that's where you grow. Oh, crap, I'm spitting bars. It is a place to grow in order to. Oh, damn, I forgot what I just said. Anyways, you know what I meant. It's a space to make those mistakes. And I did eventually try it again. It was uncomfortable. And I did it one more time and I got a little bit better. And then I started just finding the accents and kind of like a tone in my voice that I really liked. I remember I was talking like this because I wanted to be a cowboy. So I was talking to my partner and I was like, hey, you listen here. And I was doing this with my mouth. And so I was like, I really like this cowboy thing. And then I just started experimenting with different things because I knew that everyone else there was, yeah, they were also afraid to make mistakes, but they were also taking that chance. And they knew that they had support from the other players because the golden rule of yes and doesn't matter what you say or how you say it, I'm going to agree with you because you do have my support. And a good improviser will always give you 100% support. If they're only giving you 70, 50, 80%, and I think about this like relationships. If one person is only giving 50%, meaning that they only do the dishes because that's what you guys agreed upon, that's their job, but maybe the garbage is full, but you did the dishes, it's not your job. It's your partner's job. I'm here to do 50%. I'm only here to give you 50%. No, you're there to give full support, 100% support. If you see something and you can take action on it, then do it. Support your partner by agreeing with everything. Do the dishes, do the garbage. As you can tell, this is a personal problem I have. Anyways, a lot of things that I learned from the games I can really say here. Otherwise, this entire thing is just going to be about games. But one of the biggest things I learned was we learn the rules so we can break them. What I mean by this is that if you've never done improv, or maybe you have done improv, you understand that there are principles, the yes and rule, but don't ask questions. We don't ask questions, and I'm going to simply say this, and it goes back to the spotlight thing. Don't pull focus. We don't ask questions because when you ask a question, you're putting imagine putting a spotlight on someone. All the pressure's on you now. And go in that anxious feeling, that stressful feeling. Oh, I have to be funny right now. The spotlight's on me. He asked me a question. It happens so much. I've asked so many questions. It will happen in even professional settings. But you know the rules in order to break them. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to say no, but you need to know why in the first place. Practice the saying yes. Don't ask questions. Establishing who you are, where you are, what you're doing. These are the principles you must first understand. And then when you have a good grasp, start playing with it. Start breaking the rules. So we learn the rules so we can break them. And then, this is a big one. I've noticed a lot of people who haven't really committed to the scene, like I haven't committed to the accents. Here's a big thing that I learned, which is trust that what you're saying is enough. This almost goes, actually, now that I think about it, this this was said because the ones who were doing improv scenes who didn't trust what they were saying too much. Meaning that when you were doing a scene with a partner, I remember a partner was giving me giving me so much information. Now they were gifts. I could justify what they were saying, but he was giving me like a whole monologue. It seemed like it didn't end, but I just needed just a simple sentence to go off of to make an interesting scene. And he said the reason why people like to ramble and give more detail, it's good to be specific, but when you just start giving out offers and gifts, you're not confident in what you feel like one thing. Like you're not confident in just one thing you can say is going to be enough. Just trust one sentence, one phrase, one statement is enough and be confident as you say that. I notice a confidence is a lot of big one. Confidence helps freaking everything, man. I had many times I was not confident because I was afraid to take that risk, like the accent thing. I wasn't confident in my ability just to say because I thought it'd be weird, and it made the scene less interesting. It didn't make the scene bad per se. It was just could have been more interesting as long as I committed with confidence and knowing that they have your support. They're gonna say yes, and it just helps with that. Now I've been rambling. And that was pretty much the basis of this second week of improv that I've taken. Keep in mind, this is improv one. I already finished improv for actors one, which is two separate classes. Improv for actors lasted 7 weeks, and that's the one I applied for. Improv one is for anybody, whether you're an actor or you're not. And so I'm talking about improv one right now. But that was week two. We learned a lot. I will leave off by saying this in case no one has told you yet today. I love you. You matter. You have value. And let me say something I haven't said before. Dang, what was that cool little rhyme I said? Oh yeah. You gotta you're in a room with mistakes so you can grow. I don't remember that. Actually, I'm gonna say this. Goes to the warm up. How simple can a simple warm up teach you? Teaches you to react, to be present, and just to have fun. And that is what an acting scene, improv scene, whatever it is, should be. It should be fun. You should be in the moment. And you should just be reacting to what's going on, just like we are in real life. Because that's what all acting is. I love Sanford Meisner's definition of acting. It is being truthful under imaginary circumstance. And yeah, I'll leave you with that. I'll see you in the next episode for week 3. Ciao.